Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that's a huge headache for skilled professionals who want to work abroad, and a really clever, surprisingly simple solution from New Zealand. We're looking at a specific visa that's designed to break a super frustrating career loop. So let's get right into it.
So, picture this. You're a doctor, an engineer, a nurse, some kind of licensed professional, and you've got this dream of taking your skills to a new country. But if you've ever actually looked into it, you've probably slammed right into a very, very annoying problem. Yeah, it's what we call the professional's catch-22. You've got the talent, you've got the drive, but the immigration systems in a lot of places create this paradox that feels, well, impossible to solve. It pretty much shuts the door before you even get a chance to knock. Okay, so let's really break this problem down, because once you understand the obstacle, you can really appreciate just how smart New Zealand's solution is. Here it is, in a nutshell. To work in your field, you need a local license. Makes sense. But to get that license, you usually have to be physically in the country for things like exams, or interviews, or practical training. The problem? You can't get a work visa without a job offer, and you can't get a job offer until you have that license. See the issue? It's this endless, frustrating circle. But what if there was an official, government-approved way to just break that circle? This is exactly where New Zealand comes in, with a visa that was literally built to solve this problem. It's called the Occupational Registration Visitor Visa, and the entire purpose is right there in the name. This is not some risky workaround, like trying to sneak in on a tourist visa. No, this is a legitimate tool designed for one specific reason, to let you into the country so you can get licensed and ready to work. And this, right here, is the absolute game changer. For most other countries, you might be tempted to try a tourist visa, right? But that's a huge gamble. If an immigration officer even suspects you might want to work, you could get rejected. New Zealand just flips that whole idea on its head. They've built an official, direct pathway. The government knows why you're coming. In fact, they're expecting you. It's not a workaround, it's a welcome mat. So, what makes this visa so darn attractive? Let's just run through the key benefits, quick-fire style. First up, you get 3 months. That's a really solid window of time to be on the ground in New Zealand, focused on just one thing: clearing your assessments, taking your exams, or doing whatever practical training you need for that license. Second, and honestly, this is huge, there is no upper age limit. As long as you're 18 or older, you can apply. So many skilled visa programs have an age cutoff, but this one doesn't. That makes it totally accessible for experienced professionals at any stage of their career. And it's fast. The government's own website says that 80% of these applications are processed in about 5 weeks. That's incredibly quick in the world of immigration, and it means you can actually plan your future with a lot more certainty. Now, maybe the best part is what you don't need. You don't need a job offer, you don't need to struggle with some complex point system, and the entire application is online, so you don't even need to visit an embassy. They've basically just stripped away some of the biggest, most common hurdles to skilled immigration. So you're probably thinking, okay, this sounds amazing. How do I actually do it? Well, the process is way more logical and straightforward than you might expect. The whole thing starts with the professional body for your occupation in New Zealand, not with immigration. You contact them, you start their registration process, and then they give you the golden ticket, a letter that says, yes, this person needs to be in New Zealand to finish this process. Once you have that letter, the rest is easy. You just gather your documents and apply online. And here's a quick look at what you'll need. Of course, you've got the standard stuff, like your passport and character and health checks. But the single most important document, the one that makes it all work, is that invitation letter. You'll also need to prove you have enough money to cover your stay and that you have health insurance. And here's another fantastic perk. You can include your partner and your dependent kids under 19 on the exact same application. So let's zoom out. Why is this one pretty specific visa such a big deal in the grand scheme of things? Why does this really matter for professionals around the world? It all comes down to this simple idea. This isn't a loophole, it's not a trick. It is an official government pathway designed with common sense to solve a very real problem. New Zealand acknowledged that professionals need to be in the country to get licensed, so they built a formal, transparent, and honest way to do it. So, the final question is really for you. If you've been stuck in that professional's catch-22, wanting to take your career global but just hitting that brick wall, could this be it? Could this incredibly practical visa from New Zealand be the most direct path you've been looking for to finally launch that global career?